I hope everyone can hear me well. Welcome everyone to the Unified Research Methodology Sharing Session. My name is Muhammad Yasir Maulana, a PhD student in IIUM from Kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, and I will be the MC or your MC for today. All right. We would like to also introduce our speaker and also would like to inform you the title is Ethics in Responsible Research. All right. And again, before we get into our speaker, we are going to introduce him because he's a very important person and someone with extensive and incredible portfolio. All right. So our speaker here is a full professor of Islamic Studies and Civilization in the Abdul Hamid Abu Sulaiman Kuliah of Islamic Rebuilt Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIUM. And also he was the former dean of the International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization, IIUM, or ISTAC IIUM, I believe from 2000. All right, and it was a former position that he held. Also, he held a very important position back then as our deputy rector of internationalization and industry and community relations, IIM, from 2011 and 2018. He also had he also has taught many courses in the Kuliah, also had published many books, many journals, national and international, and also he had conferred with Darjah Panglima Jasa Negara or PJN by His Majesty, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. So it's going to be an absolute honor, Prof, to have you here. Please welcome Datuk Professor Dr. Abdelaziz Berghout. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you very much indeed, Brother Yasir, Maulana, for your introduction. And I thank all the participants who are with us here. It's a very great honor to be invited to this forum focusing on research methodology and empowering our our researchers, our scholars with the necessary knowledge and exposure that they need when they deal with the different areas of research. As you are all aware, as long as you are saying to yourself, I am a researcher, I am a scholar, I am a thinker, I am a postgraduate student, I am a student in a university, research becomes part and parcel of your life, your existence. And you will take the journey of your life to empower yourself and enhance your research skills from the lower levels up to the levels of mastering um, research and approaches and methods of doing research. So, brothers and sisters, I have been asked to talk to you on a topic of ethics in responsible research. Okay, that's the topic we're supposed to discuss together here today. Ethics in responsible research or ethical responsible research or uh, the values and principles and ethical guidelines that a researcher or a scholar or a postgraduate student supposed to adhere to and supposed to do in order to comply with certain norms, certain principles, and certain values. So, our topic today is about ethics in responsible research. We need, and also we will try towards the end to talk about the responsible tawhidic or maqasidic approach to research, because especially our university here we adopt the the idea of Tawhidic epistemology and Maqasid al-Sharia as a value system, as an ethical framework for our teaching, learning, research, supervision, management, and all these things. So that's our topic, brothers and sisters. So every one of us, as I said, in the academia or in the realm of um, research, we we know that we must do research, and our research includes many things. Our assignment can be considered research. Our master and PhD definitely is a research. Our work or research work that we do, whether within our discipline or interdisciplinary with other groups and other teams from other disciplines, this all called research. And research called research means, especially in the higher education level, when you talk about research, you cannot do research without methodology, without method, without a way of researching. You cannot do research without having approaches, methods, whether qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods, uh, all combined, or now we are talking about um, transdisciplinary approaches or system thinking methodologies of dealing with the issues and problems that we face in our life. So, whenever there is a research, there is a methodology, there is an approach, there is a way how you conduct your research, starting from identifying your statement of the problem, then moving into the whole process of putting the hypothesis, identifying your objective, identifying your significance, identifying your methodology, identifying the literature review, and setting the the chapterizing, all these things, all these steps from identifying the problem until providing an interpretation or a solution or a theory to the phenomena or to the question, that there are a lot of processes there. This is all called a methodology. So you are a researcher, you must do research. When you do research, you must follow a methodology and a method. Now, within this work that you do, there are many elements that contribute to the quality of your research, to the quality of your output, to the quality of your conduct of research. There are many elements, like, for example, the tools, the means of research, like, for example, the techniques that you follow. One of these very important elements and components of research, not only in the Islamic worldview or the Islamic perspective or Islamic research, but anywhere research, there is a component called ethics and values. Ethics and values. And in fact, nowadays, this component of ethics and values becomes very important, very vital in research, brothers and sisters. Before this, long time ago, maybe people focus more on the follow the quantitative, follow the procedures, follow the survey, the analysis, the things. That's what. But nowadays, the component of ethics, values, principles that guide the core and processes and activities of your research becomes very vital, especially, brothers and sisters, when we have today new sophisticated means of research, tools of research. For example, the inclusion of AI into the whole body of research becomes posing many, many new questions about many things that we do in our research, brothers and sisters. This is why ethics, studying ethics as one of the component in our enterprise of research is very important and becoming more important with the new challenges of AI, of technology, the new challenges of like AI can help you plagiarize, can help you cheating, can help you falsify, can help you do many things, brothers and sisters. That's why principles, values, ethics coming to the fore, coming to the essence, to the center of the researcher's business and the researcher's work, as we shall show you, inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, within this introduction, it is very important for you to understand that as a researcher, you need ethics and values. And today we are talking about responsible research. We are not just talking about you are doing research, but we are talking about responsible. When you say responsible research, I am doing my master or PhD and I am doing my thesis, you are a responsible researcher. What does mean responsible researcher? Not just to go and collect and bring from there, and then and put it all together and submit it for your viva or for your degree. No, responsible means you become accountable and responsible for each and every step of your research. Even you, from the Islamic perspective, the Tawhidic perspective, you become responsible and accountable for your research, not only the outer side of your research of collecting the information, doing the interviews, respecting the secrecy of the information, and getting the right information, not plagiarizing, not doing. This is one part, but from Islamic perspective, even accountable and responsible in your niyyah, in your intention. Even before you talk about your statement of the problem or your objective, or your niyyah is very important. Your intention is very important. Why you are doing this research? Is this research being intended to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to the ummah and to be Khalifa on earth, or intended to cause harm to people, intended to create outputs or to bring solutions or to bring things that will harm universe, that will harm people, that will impact negatively the universe. So even in your intentions, in your first inside thoughts about your topic, you are responsible and you are accountable. Those who go and uh, created the virus, COVID-19 virus, and caused the death of millions of people, what do you think in this? Is it responsible research? Is it accountable research? Is it so? This term responsible research makes our responsibility, our duty towards our research work becomes more serious, brothers and sisters. That's why when you talk about ethics in responsible research, you are not just talking about ethics in any research, but responsible means we should be accountable for our thoughts, ideas, works, starting from setting the statement, collecting the data, using the instrument, respecting the participant, the interviewee, respecting the society, respecting the stakeholders, respecting. We cannot go and bring, from an Islamic perspective, knowledge or ilm in economics or politics or ICT or medical that will harm people, that will kill people. Why? Because the framework that governs, the ethics that governs our research is based on maqasid sharia. And maqasid sharia says that anything you bring in your knowledge, in your ilm, in your research, in your outputs must fall within the framework or the ethical framework of protecting life, protecting religion, protecting progeny, protecting society, protecting people, protecting reason, protecting عقل and humanity. So, brothers and sisters, it should be very clear to us when we say ethics in responsible research from an Islamic perspective, we are really putting ourselves in an ethical framework that guides us. In fact, if we implement the ethical maqasid tawheed oriented responsible research, we will minimize or we might not have plagiarism test, turn it in. If we really do things as Allah said, we don't need to be worried of using ChatGPT to write our thesis, to write our article, to publish our things. Why? Because we are guided by an ethical khalifa based or maqasid based what we call a framework. So, brothers and sisters, in this context, we are trying today to talk about ethics in responsible research. Let me now take you through this some of these presentations of these slides which I prepared for you here. Brothers and sisters, when we talk about responsible or ethics in responsible research and innovation, we are talking about not only you as a student or researcher, but we are talking about many stakeholders. We talk about society, because society or government provide for you grants to come up with your research. And the society and the people and the government expects that your research will not cause harm, but give benefits. They expect that your research should make impact, should solve solutions. So it should be responsible. It should not be just any research or any output that can harm people. So if you see here, these are some of the stakeholders when we talk about responsible research. You see the stakeholders here, the benefit, the benefit, any innovation that we create, any solutions that we create, whether in natural science, medical science, human science, in different sciences, we must always put in our mind the stakeholders' perspective. Who is stakeholders? Society, people, families, government, children, environment also. How do you protect your environment? Imagine you are doing research in agriculture and bringing new food which is genetically changed to make it faster, to make it this. Does this cause harm or not? That's the first question. If you follow ethics, when you go and you do economics, you do your research in economics. The first question you ask whether your research is ethically based or not, ethically oriented or not. Is it serving the stakeholders or not? Is it harming the stakeholders or not? These are the ethical questions of responsible research. I cannot go and bring an economic theory or model or process, especially from Islamic perspective, that promotes riba, interest rate, that promotes imbalance or injustice in the distribution of wealth. In medicine is the same. In environmental studies in the same. In social sciences, when I am in psychology, I don't get uh, outputs of research that will harm the nafs, create imbalance in your nafs, in your ruh, that causes you schizophrenia, that causes you things and this. I need to do a research if I follow ethics, a research that serves positively the stakeholders and refrains from impacting negatively. Because why? The ethical Maqasidic system of research says that the main principle is stop harm and bring benefit. درء المفسدة وجلب المصلحة. So in your research, you must always have this framework in your mind and see whether your impacts consider the consequences or not. Consequences that harm religion, life, family, aql, reason. That's the ethical framework of Islam. Now, we move forward here. Brothers and sisters, there are many examples of ethical systems or examples of models of ethics in research. I'm not sure whether you are familiar. You can Google RRI. This is the research, responsible research and innovation. This is a European model developed by European countries to inculcate and include values and ethics in research. This is a framework. You can just Google. They have been working for it for a long time and they developed its framework, its model, its checklist, whether your research is ethical or not in different areas. Even though, from a European perspective, which is scientifically speaking, maybe they follow positivism or rationalism, or but even that, when it comes to research, they are talking about responsible research, responsible research that that has some guidelines and frameworks. If you look at this framework here, the European, imagine what will be the Islamic Maqasid Tawhidic framework for research, brothers and sisters. These are the European, this is a European model. When it speaks about ethics in research, they put a lot of good things. We can learn from them many things, brothers and sisters. They are talking about responsible research and innovation. They talk about openness and transparency in research. They talk about, anticipation and reflexivity. You know what does mean? Anticipation and reflexivity as an ethics, as an ethic, or as a principle in research. Reflexivity means you as a researcher, when you do your research, you start working on it and coming up with results and analyzing and this, you reflexivity means you start asking question, ethical question. Is my research correct or not? Are my questions correct or not? Are the findings, are the information that I collect reliable or not? Are they genuine or not? Am I involved in creating or just making and fabricating? This means reflective. As a principle, you need to, and in Islamic concept, we can say it's like a form of muhasaba or tadabbur or reflecting whether your collection of information correct or not. Are you referring to the right references or not? Are you putting footnotes correctly or not? Are you taking others ideas and just rephrasing and taking or not? So this is how they created. So responsiveness and adaptability. Inside here, they have these six principles uh, to govern responsible research. One is ethics. One of them is ethics. The other one is science education, to train people on science education. Open access, public engagement, means as a researcher, you have a relation with the society, with the stakeholders, you get grants from them, you manage the grants, you have to do it all ethically. You get results, you apply your your findings, you have to do it responsibly. Governance also, managing our grants, managing our research. This one actually institutionally done by uh, bodies like research center, like the bodies that govern. Gender equality. This is like a European kind of an aspect. They talk about even in research. One of the important things to create a good framework, there should be gender equality. You don't just do give research to women only or to men only. Don't give the research that is suitable for women to men. Let's say, especially in things, let's say, talking about women, like fertilization, like things that are really specifically needs a woman mind and psychic to do research. You go and you give it to men researcher to do it. This is, according to them, doesn't follow the standard of doing responsible research. So RRI, brothers and sisters, as you see it here, is all about one of the very important aspect is research ethics, research integrity, and responsibility, and environment responsibility, and social responsibility. Means our, when we talk about ethics in research, we are talking about responsible researchers who are really aware of their responsibilities. For us, many of us, we are just still lost in, issues of plagiarism, issues of use of AI to bring information. Sometimes, but when you talk about really responsible researcher, deeply, you are talking about a scholar or a researcher or postgraduate student who is really aware of the importance of research, the impacts of research, the approaches to research, the values of research, the ethics of research, and not only aware of them, but commit to them, practice them, do them in research. Anything that you do you must be responsible for it, brothers and sisters. I move forward. Later on, I will give you this PowerPoint because there are many things to mention and time is short. Now, so we move to another item here. It's the same, brothers and sisters. One of the component in another Western model of talking about ethics in responsible research, they talk about ethical and inclusive practices like fair, responsible, transparent research, secure and ethical data. You don't go as a researcher to create, manipulate, add, remove. All this is not acceptable in this framework. Ethical oversight and responsible technology use. You can use ChatGPT, you can use other technologies, but whether you are using them ethically or not, you have to have the consciousness, the awareness of a responsible researcher who knows his boundaries and who knows and respects his mind and respects others' minds and he respects uh, because a person who takes others' ideas without referring, a person who uses ChatGPT to write his thesis, or he's not respecting his mind. He's not respecting his self, his own ni'mah and power of aql that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in him. And He empowered him to build those abilities of thinking, of tadabbur, of analyzing, of synthesizing, of becoming a good responsible research. Those who rely on these tools and techniques fully to get for him his articles or thesis or books written, these people are not really respecting their own well-being, their own mind and brain that is ready to do all types of research. So, brothers and sisters, uh, this research ethics are very important in many ways because they promote the aims of research, such as in expanding knowledge. They support us to follow the values and follow the ethics, the principles that make our research and our relations in research with our stakeholders are all based on values and ethics. They also ensure that our the public trust, because when you get a grant to do research, whether from CPS or from waqaf or from the government, or and use it ethically, properly, and you observe the values and you do it for the sake of the society and not harming others, means you are actually earning the trust, the confidence of the provider of the grants, and in the future they give you more and more. And these are some of the importances. There are many of them here, brothers and sisters, because these ethical norms can help us enhance our scientific integrity, our compliance, our ethical decision making, our collaboration and reputation, and our credibility and trust and amana and trustworthiness as researchers, brothers and sisters. So, this is why advocating ethics and values and practicing them in the fields of research is something very important to do, brothers and sisters. I move forward. Now, in IIUM here, Alhamdulillah, our university, because we are an Islamic, international Islamic university, for a long time, we follow the Tawhidic model, the Islamic maqasid, and we developed a model of responsible, what is responsible research. And we hope our researchers, postgraduate students, scholars, researchers, to follow and adapt these things. Our model is based, of course, on the main framework is Tawhidic worldview, Tawhidic epistemology, Maqasid al-Sharia, and here we conduct research and innovation, and in this research and innovation, our bigger framework is the maqasid as you see them here. Anything we do, we want to protect life, protect religion, protect intellect, protect wealth, protect lineage, protect society, protect environment, protect the ummah. Means our outputs should be beneficial to the ummah. And how do we get these outputs? We should follow the norms and ethics of Islamic research. These are the things that our model talks about: positive impact to society and environment, ethical and safe conduct, socially desirable, should be sustainable. We should not just get things that they get some financial benefits and then they will harm the society or they will stop. High touch community engagement. When it comes to research, leaders, and innovators, we have to develop our skills and competencies. That's why our university provides to postgraduate students, to our researchers, many skills, many competencies of doing all types of research. This lecture today is one example of trying to empower our student and our researchers. Guided career path. We have a lot of values in the university here, and I think all of you are aware of the Tawhidic Islamic values and ethics. So, brothers and sisters, the core principles that from an Islamic perspective that govern our responsible research, it's accountability, human-centered value, fairness, privacy, safety, security, social well-being, transparency, trustworthiness. All these values, all these ethics are, you are all aware of them, but what is the challenge is the implementation of this research ethics in what we do, processes. This is also another set of values and principles, and all, if I can summarize them from Islamic perspective, they all stress the importance of amana, trustworthiness, accountability, responsibility, not taking others' information without referring to them, objectivity, not being biased, and these are the virtues and qualities of a good researcher. If I want to use the model of what we call iceberg, the iceberg metaphor, what you see up there, in what we see up there is we see the methods, the techniques of research, the competencies of research, we see the money, we see the institute, but what we don't see sometimes is the ethics, the values, the philosophy of research, the ontology of your research, the epistemology that guides you, the values, the core of our research. Our research is amana. Our ilm is responsibility. Our epistemology is guiding us to bring ilm or knowledge or solutions that are khair for humanity, that are solving problems, that are not causing COVID-19, that are not causing environment degradation, that are not bringing genetic engineering that is modifying the human nature. So these are the values and ethics. So this metaphor shows that many of us nowadays, in many places, in many universities, we focus more on formalities, we focus more on the procedures, we focus more on the day-to-day, and we leave the ruh, the substance of research, its values, its ethics. It's the morality that creates a khalifa, researcher, and knowledge, and a khalifa, knowledge and ilm, brothers and sisters. These are other things here. We need to move very quickly. There are many ideas that I brought here regarding the Islamic introduction to Islamic ethical framework of research. Of course, our ethical framework in responsible research is based on research as amana, and a researcher as a khalifa on earth. And this earth is a place where we develop hayatun tayyiba, or desirable life, using our research, using our ilm, and every word, every sentence, every solution, every idea we put in our research need to be clear, clean, fair, just, and brought by our own effort. And whenever we get anything from others, from ChatGPT or from other humans, we need to refer. So, brothers and sisters, these are many things that you need to observe when we talk about this topic of this topic of responsible research. These are some of the main and major ethics that govern our research. Just I mentioned the titles. In your research, always in your intention, always in your before you start thinking about putting the first sentences of your statement of the problem in your intention, you need to consider and to know that your research should observe, should stand for human dignity, justice in treatment. Imagine you are doing research in medical and you are dealing with your patient and you get the information from your patient, but you spread those information of your patient, or you get them without their consent, or you promise them to make them confidential, but later on you go and put them in the media. You All this is against the norms, the ethics of doing research. It's the same in hierarchy or in human science. You have to do justice to your those who are participating in your research. You have to do justice to the books where you get your information. If you are doing library research, your books also, you have to be responsible towards them. How do you get the info? How do you document the info? How do you use it properly? How do you interpret it properly? All this is the responsibility of a researcher. Prohibition of harm. Prohibition of harm. This is principle in Maqasid Sharia. Dar'ul mafasid, and observing the consequences of your research. You just implant today your research, your publication, maybe 20, 30 years later on, they can harm someone, some institution, some societies. You have to be aware of this. Truthfulness and honesty, social responsibility towards the society and serving the society. Okay, brothers and sisters, these are few things that I wanted to mention to you today, and I stop at this point, and we open for questions and answers if you have things, inshallah, because I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Datuk Prof. By the way, Datuk Prof, we plan to do the session a bit longer. So essentially, it's okay if you really still want to deliver some points, unless if you are rushing. Or what do you
Yeah,
think?
but brother, because I have actually a class at 3:30,
Oh,
and that's why I told my student I will be joining them around maybe 3:50 or 4. So we open for questions and answers. That's why I did it this way.
no problem then. All right, we respect very much your time, your schedule. Uh, okay, so everyone, that was from our Datuk Prof. All right, giving us new insights, new perspectives on what does it mean by responsible, or what does it mean to become a responsible researcher. One of them that I think we had listened to our Datuk Prof is the fact that we have to be responsible for all the steps, and even initially we have to also refine our intention in doing the research. All right, and okay, Datuk Prof, may I know until what time you will
Yeah, we
be
go
with?
until 4, inshallah.
Until 4?
Sorry, around
3?
3:40, 3:50. We just open for question and answer, no problem.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then everyone, for question and answer, just a simple rule is that we are going to either read your questions in the chat box, you may write them there, or you may also just open your mic, but make sure your surrounding is quite conducive. All right, so please welcome all the questions. I believe there is one question from, excuse me, I couldn't really read the name, but I think, may I read the question, Prof?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. All right. So, by the way, before I forget, also everyone, in the chat box we have the attendance and evaluation form. All right. So fill them up for us to record your attendance and also for us to improve our later sessions for our unified research methodology sessions. Here goes the question. A wonderful lecture. Thank you, Dr. Prof. I have a question, if you please. I'm not generalizing, of course, but when we look at some journals, for example, or some universities and research centers, or those towards which scientific research is directed, what we find that these do not encourage ethical research, as they rely on certain biases or mere quantity without quality for administrative or other reasons. Is this not an implicit invitation for the researcher to go along with the situation, or at least to be pragmatic in his scientific research, even if it costs him ethics? So I believe this is regarding ethics again. Thank you, Dr.
Yeah,
Prof,
yeah.
please.
Thank you, brother
Mhm.
Yasir.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, brother Kamil, for your question. Yeah, yeah. Partly you are correct, and partly that's why now and even before institutions, universities, even bodies at the government level and ministries are putting guidelines for ethical and responsible research. The one I explained to the RRI, Responsible Research and Innovation, is an initiative from Europe actually to ensure and to solve the problem that you are mentioning. For example, in our university, as an example, we are trying to put the ethical guidelines for responsible research, ethics in research. We have regulations. We have all these are meant to encourage people to adopt these responsible ethical frameworks to do research.
Dia keringnya
Unfortunately,
dia A4
uh,
tapi macam Wani kata dah dia spiral dia tengok.
unfortunately,
Dia
as
dua
you
gambar dalam satu A4
Sorry,
tu dia. Okay.
sorry, Sister Awis, may you? Uh,
Okay. And
yeah.
unfortunately, we still have these practices. As you mentioned, the journals, especially those journals that are just meant for, financial gain or just meant to uh, promote whatever type of knowledge, whether harmful or not. That's why there is a need to further enhance these guidelines, these trainings, these values, so that we try to ensure that the majority of our researchers and scholars are abiding by the ethics of research. That's why I think more and more you go to all institutions in the world without exception, they got these guidelines and now they are escalating them because the impacts and the results of not following the ethics in responsible research are creating a lot of negative impacts and people losing their lives because of the result and outputs of certain research because it leads to harming because we are not talking just about research in small simple areas. You are talking about research in genetic engineering, in human bodies, in agriculture, in food, in education, in psychology, in medical, in all area. That's why it is very important that these guidelines to be adhered to, but of course we need education, we need training, we need to take a long time to create culture, to create environments, to create responsible researches. It doesn't come haphazard or coincident. No, there is a lot of work to be done. And as I said, from an Islamic perspective, we really have all these guidelines in our Tawhidic model, in our Maqasid al-Sharia, in our ethics, the applied ethics of research in our history of Islamic civilization. When you look at Islamic civilization from the time our Ummah start producing ilm and knowledge, Al-Batani, Al-Bayruni, Al-Ghazali, Al-Izz ibn Abdul Salam, Ibn Khaldun, Al-Qarafi, all these ulama in all disciplines, you will find if you check their introduction when they do their research, whether in natural science or another, in almost in all their areas, in their all introductions, you will find that they will talk about ethical considerations. They will talk about ethical guidelines of their research, that they are doing this research like Ibn Khaldun in his Muqaddimah. He says that I am doing this research and I introduced a new science, which is the science of Ilm al-Umran, but I am not proud of myself. I'm not claiming that I am the only first human being who brought this ilm, but there might be some other great scholars who discovered this ilm, but I'm not aware of it. But I, I did my best and I followed the norms and the values and I come to these conclusions and I hope that these conclusions and this ilm will be beneficial for the ummah and for man and for society and I did my best to collect the best information, the best evidence, the best, and I refer to Quran, I refer to Sunnah, I refer to this, I refer to this, I refer to Tabari, to Zamakhshari, to all. What does that mean? This is this is a model of a scholar whose understanding of ethics and values in research is not just a guideline, but a life, but a living think in him. He learned it from the Quran and the Sunnah. We want our researchers to be this way. But unfortunately, because of the what we have and our education and all this, we have even many Muslim scholars, many Muslim researchers, many Muslim student, they also pleasurize, they do all these type of things. So that's why we are providing these inputs for our researchers to really embrace ethics in responsible research, because if you don't do it, There are regulations, there are norms in the institutions to solve these issues. You plagiarize, you will be dismissed. You do this, you will do this. But as I said, from an Islamic perspective, because who watches us is not the regulations, is not the institution, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why when I start, I say, if you are a responsible researcher, Khalifa, it's your consciousness that guides you. It's your intention, is your niyyah that guides you. It's your ilm that guides you. But unfortunately, practically in the real world, we have a lot of problems with ethics in responsible research in many institutions, in many journals, in many things. That's why, Alhamdulillah, our university is trying to promote that model that we really nurture the Khalifa researcher with the ethics of responsible research.
Thank you, Dr. Prof, for your answer for Brother Camille. I think we have around two more questions if we would like to welcome them. One question is by Marriott QC. Dear Prof, MIT, Massachusetts, I believe, so MIT research has shown that the use of ChatGPT reduces critical skills. Do you think this will affect research and the ability of students to bring impactful research? Yes.
Thank you, Sister Marriott. This is a very good question. Maybe MIT and other, I read also other universities did research on this, and some of them somehow they are trying to find correlation between the overuse and the over relying on ChatGPT in whatever you are doing in your research, not only actually in the field of research. Now it's used in business, in medical, in anything, any question you give to a person, to a medical doctor, or to this, or to a business, or any problem, immediately he will talk to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give you all the things and then start refining. Now this type of research trying to prove that this in the on the long run, I think in the long run it might affect our the higher level order competencies. You know the Bloom taxonomy model. You have the memorization, the understanding, the analysis. Then you have the synthesizing, then application, then innovation. The higher level. I think. I think if we really rely and we become addicted to it, we are heading towards that. We are heading towards that because we are human and our natural intelligence is based on practice, is based on doing, is based on using aql, using reason, using the high level abilities and competencies to solve issues and to solve problems. So, so if ChatGPT become the one that is doing everything, of course your brain will not be used for this higher level kind of tasks. You will lose somehow your abilities to synthesize, to link things together, to put things together, to create, to invent. That's why what is needed now is the optimal and the guided use of ChatGPT. We are not saying don't use, but you use to refine some of the ideas. You can propose certain things, and then he will give you things, then you refine, then you give him other instruction, then you give him instruction, then he will refine, then you give instruction, then you need to be leading ChatGPT, not ChatGPT leading you. Once ChatGPT start leading you, you are habis, you are finished, and you will go into a scale or into a trend of losing the higher abilities of thinking actually without knowing, and you enjoy it. You enjoy losing your natural intelligence at a higher level and very excited because you get a lot of things from ChatGPT. So you need to create that awareness that it's a good tool, a sophisticated tool, but I need to keep my natural intelligence, my competencies. In fact, instead of doing the other way around, why don't we use ChatGPT to teach us critical thinking? Why don't we use ChatGPT to teach us innovative, creative thinking? And it can do wonderful. I delivered a talk about this before to another audience, how we use AI to teach us on creative thinking and critical thinking. There are a lot of skills, but always keep that developing your natural intelligence, your high level competencies is your wajib. It's wajib for you. Because you cannot be a great scholar, a great alim, a great, from an Islamic perspective, a great mujtahid, if you don't have critical thinking, if you don't have innovative thinking, if you don't have analytical thinking, if you don't have ethical thinking, if you don't have synthesization abilities and skills, where are you going? You can just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, means you are not really projecting yourself to be really a scholar of the future. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Datuk Prof. All right, and Datuk Prof says, everyone, we should lead ChatGPT, not ChatGPT leads us, otherwise we're finished. All right, very well for that. And so I think what we're going to do, perhaps we'll try to take just two more questions because Prof will have a class after this. So I think we go with two more questions and then that's it, everyone.
Yeah,
So,
I think we go until 3:45, no problem.
oh,
We
okay,
have
Prof.
another 15 minutes or 20. Okay.
Okay, that's it, Prof. Then if that's the case, no problem. Okay, next question. It's in the chat box, but I'll just help to read. Thanks, Prof, for your comprehensive guidance. Your research employs several established methodological approaches. Could you clarify whether these methods are primarily derived from Western epistemological traditions or whether they are grounded in Islamic intellectual and civilizational frameworks? In this regard, how do you define Islamic research methods and what distinguishes the methodological tradition of Islamic civilization from modern Western research methodologies? Thank you.
Okay. This question is written in the chat or?
Yes, Prof. Just now,
Oh, okay.
it's by Abdul Rahman Safi. Yes.
Okay, let me just see, Brother Abdul Rahman. Okay. Uh, Okay, thank you, Brother Abdurrahman, for your question. In fact, what I did here, I just provided a kind of uh, expose or exposure about the topic of ethics in responsible research. And I just referred to the RRI model of Europe and some other models. And I think in the slides down there, there is some kind of comparison between the Western oriented framework and the Islamic. What I advocate myself is to develop an Islamic or a Tawhidic framework for the ethics in research. And we need to do that. And we have the Quran, we have the Islamic civilization as a field for implementation of ethics in research for over 1,000 years. And we have a lot of guidelines in Islam and in our tradition on this. So I didn't, in fact, present in this lecture here uh, the framework I developed somewhere else or presented somewhere else when it comes to this responsible research. This lecture just was meant for this program here. That's why I just give a few things. But if you notice in what I was saying that the ethics in research, in responsible research from an Islamic perspective, is based on maqasid and tawhidic approach, which provides us with a list, with a set of ethics. And those set of ethics are not just based on the outer behavior and character and work and activities of the researcher, but they are based on the inner self and the heart and the mind and the soul and the personality of the researcher. So, ethics in Islamic perspective supposed to be part and parcel of our bringing up, of our understanding of what is ilm, what is education, what is research, what is implementation of Islamic knowledge in life to achieve istikhlaf. So I can say as a summary here that Islam has and supposed to have its own model of ethics in responsible research, from the theoretical framework to the approaches to the applications. So, inshallah, um, uh, like myself, I think there are many scholars who wrote already about this, but myself, I'm working on a book on research and ethics in Islamic perspective. But to answer your question, it was not my intention to to present the Islamic model, but what I presented is amalgamation of some Western and some Islamic points here and there. Go ahead.
Okay, Datuk, Prof. Thank you. There are indeed around two or three more questions. We'll see because it's until 3:45.
Okay.
Mm. Next up by Ikhlaq Ahmed. Okay, this is interesting, I believe. Professor, could we say that the concept behind ChatGPT existed long ago? Throughout history, many European philosophers, historians, and thinkers built upon and drew heavily from the works of Muslim scholars and earlier civilizations. In this sense, the process of collecting, synthesizing, and transmitting knowledge has always existed. Only its form has evolved with time and technological advancement. The only thing you mentioned is to stop blindingly or blindly following it, right? Yes, that's the
Yeah,
question.
thank you, brother Ikhlaq. I think partly you are correct, and Muslims have contributed certain foundations, like the algorithms of al-Khwarizmi and like al-Manazir, al-Bayruni, and there was an environment in Islamic history and civilization to reach this level of sophistication, but unfortunately or fortunately, uh, there are certain other dynamics, political, cultural, led the ummah to move to other directions. That's why we haven't developed further in these areas. ChatGPT was not supposed to be there at that time because we haven't reached that level of connectivity and of algorithms that can do this sophisticated data integration and data mining and this. I think we haven't reached that level at that time, but as I said, from that thing, looks like the Muslim science and knowledge was able to theorize and move. What changed now today here, not only the form now become more sophisticated. What changed not only the form, but also the depth of understanding how the algorithms working, the depth of how connectivity of information is happening. It was impossible to happen then because trillions of information are expanding and flowing every day. You create algorithms that put them all together and analyze and synthesize and do this and do it was not possible. That's why I can say what's happening now is a revolution in this area, but this doesn't mean the Islamic civilization doesn't have that algorithmic or algorithm thinking, and also even aerospace thinking, where Abna'u Musa they managed to even have developed the flight, but because of the political context and situation and what happening there, their project was fallen apart. So I think that's my comment to this question, and we need to do a lot. Unfortunately, our civilization today is not the civilization that is dominating, scientifically speaking. It's not the mainstream civilization that produces all these things. We are still consuming, and we need to push ourselves, our universities, our institutions, our specialists to start developing the Islamic based or Tawhidic oriented kind of AI, kind of ICT, kind of technology as a foundation for the future of Islamic technology or Islamic sciences, maybe 30, 40, 50 years in the future. Our researchers then, they will be able to develop a technology that will surpass the ChatGPT today. Let's have that ambition. Let's have that thinking, that strategic alignment, and do our best. Go ahead.
Thank you, Datuk Prof. Another great answer from you. Um, there is another question. However, looking at this question, perhaps the answer is already there in your presentation earlier, because this one asks about from Nick. The question is, do ethical guidelines apply only on the way we conduct our research and not specifically the outcomes of the research? I believe just now, Datuk Prof
Yeah.
also had mentioned that
Yeah, I
it has
just
to be.
wanted to add, one thing here.
Yeah.
In fact, our ethics in the idea of responsible research actually covers all the stages, not just the stage of uh, doing the research and then you bring the output and that's it. No, the application is much more dangerous than the coming up with the solutions. That's why I spoke about the consequences. In Maqasid Sharia, they call it ma'alat. The ma'al, al-fi'al, the ma'al of knowledge. The ma'al means is the consequence. I talk also about the impact. Impact means society, means stakeholders. And as our chairman said, indirectly I answered this question, and it should cover all, and not only covering the researcher who is me or you or the student, but also covers those who apply, who commercialize, who because in the end we need to protect the human being, the dignity of the human being, the life of the human being, the health of the human being, the psychology of the human being. So, means our ethics must cover all stages from intention up to application, up to impacts, up to what will happen. Okay,
Thank you, Datuk Prof. Before we continue any further, uh, Prof, someone asked whether they can get the slides,
for
or would you?
sure,
Oh, okay.
for sure. I will send it to you.
Uh-uh.
I will give to Brother Amir and then he will give it to you.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
everyone. So Brother Amir is from CPS. Then I will communicate because I'm also from PGSS. Perhaps I will help on that too. Thank you. Don't worry. I think that's it, Prof. There is one question. How can we use ChatGPT in our research? But I think also you had answered that. Don't let ChatGPT control us. We have to control ChatGPT, right? That was your answer. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and that is
Yeah,
the last question.
I can
Mm.
just add, yeah, ChatGPT and others. There are also other AIs which are very beneficial in terms of literature review, in terms of analysis, in terms of providing sophisticated, vast data in one place. You can use these things, but as a conscious Khalifa, researcher that you want your knowledge to be beneficial to the ummah and to be according to the sharia, according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, and you wanted it to be barakah in your ilm, barakah based research, that Allah, you have to refrain and avoid all this type of things. You know, you use as much as you can, but with guideline. Don't take and for your information, many things under ChatGPT and others are all wrong. So you need also to have your critical mind. You have to have your comparative mind. You don't just take things. So an ethical based and efficient use means we use it whenever it's necessary, not to take it like habit and it becomes leading us, guiding us, and then we cannot do much in the future because we are addicted. We need now in the future, there will be clinics for removing ChatGPT addiction. We will send you to the clinic to get some Panadol, but AI Panadol for you to fix the problem, and it can escalate to a psychological mental problem, and then it escalates to a physical problem. Then we will have. So once we guide ourselves from day one, from the beginning, we use it balancedly. We use it in the areas where we need it for fast things or fast information, but we always keep our critical thinking, critical mind, and keep yourself writing. Don't also, because ChatGPT can write for you a book or a thesis. Keep always write your handwriting, your typing. You type by yourself. You do by yourself. Let your, because your natural intelligence, your natural physical body, senses are created to function this way. This technology is supposed to be facilitating, helping, adding. So don't lose your real natural intelligences and senses. This is why, hopefully, inshallah, we all can abide by this because the addiction is very dangerous.
Okay. Thank you, Datuk Prof. All right. It could be actually concerning if ChatGPT would, or any of these tools would ever take over our life. Hopefully, won't. It won't. Okay, and that's it, Prof. I mean, we don't really see any more questions. So a quick reminder for everyone. That's the, once again, attendance and evaluation link for our session today. And also slides for slides and I believe slides, possibly recording too, will be forwarded later. All right, we will coordinate with Mr. Amir first from CPS. Other than that, Datuk Prof, thank you so much for your time. We wish to see you in person. I personally would want to meet you at one point. Thank you.
Most welcome, anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, Datuk
most
Prof.
welcome.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm trying to see whether just my slide. Let me just see how I, for your information, this slide just prepared 1 hour before before the lecture. Let me
Wow.
see the name presentation. Okay. I will send it to brother, and then he will forward to the team. Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
All right. All right. Datuk Prof, thank you. And everyone, I'm signing out. Muhammad Yasir Maulana. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We'll see you in the next Unified Research Methodology. Stay in tune. Goodbye. Thank you,
Thank you
Prof.
very
Thank you,
much,
Doctor.
brother. Well
Thank
done.
you. Yeah, thank you, Datuk.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. Salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.